Hello everyone and welcome back to the Metal Gear Solid 2 European Extreme playthrough. I almost said hard because I was looking at all the previous saves, but we've just completed the tanker, so let's get straight into the plan. I'm going to show some of the introduction cutscenes just so you get a basic idea of where we are, and but from that point on we probably won't be showing many cutscenes at all for a while. We'll kind of get a lot more gameplay just stretched back to back. But anyway, I'm going to mute my mic because there's a few cutscenes, but I will be speaking again shortly.
Snake, do you remember the sinking of that tanker 2 years ago?
Of course.
Terrorists blow a hole in an oil tanker full of crude barely 20 miles off the shore of Manhattan. Your classic nightmare. It didn't take long for the government to put an oil fence around the whole mess. And then that massive offshore cleanup facility went up inside.
The big shell. I hear the cleanup isn't quite over yet.
It takes time. But in the meantime, the shell's become a landmark, a symbol of environmental protection.
Teams Alpha and Bravo. Deploy at the big shell as scheduled.
Approximately 6 hours ago, the big shell was seized by an armed group.
Do we have an ID?
Former members of the Navy SEALs Special Anti-Terrorist Training Squad Dead Cell. Russian private army members may also be involved. It's a highly trained group and they have the big shell under complete control.
Come in from downwind and pull up fast. Get ready to fast rope down to Shell 1. 5 minutes to ETA. Alpha, your top priority is to rescue and safeguard the President. Team Bravo, watch out for Stillman's back and get those C4s disarmed.
What are their demands?
$30 billion.
$30 billion. What makes them think they can get that much?
There was a government-sponsored tour going on at the big shell that day.
Hostages, huh?
A VIP from one of the major conservation groups, and one from our own government. The most important person in a sense.
The most important person?
James Johnson.
The President?
Unless the demands are met, the terrorists intend to blow the big shell out of the water.
And the crude will ignite, turning the Manhattan Harbor into an inferno.
That's not the worst-case scenario. If the chlorides being used to decontaminate the seawater go up with the oil, toxins containing catastrophic levels of dioxins will be released. In other words, the bay's ecosystem will be wiped out, and the sea will turn into a toxic soup for centuries, becoming the worst environmental disaster in history. You have 2 mission objectives. 1, infiltrate the offshore decontamination facility Big Shell and safeguard the President and other hostages. And 2, disarm the terrorists by any means necessary. You should know that SEAL Team 10 is also conducting a rescue operation.
Is this a joint effort?
No. Foxhound remains a covert body. Don't alert them to your presence. That is an order.
This is Snake. I'm now inside Strut A of Shell 1.
How are things?
We're in luck. Looks like there are no sentries posted here.
So we're going to leave that there.
The texture is in
As you can see, we are playing as Snake, as
the
I
hatch with
sort of wiggle my fingers in quotation marks. But yeah, we are now on the big shell. This is where the majority of the game is going to take place. So, yeah. Now I'm just having a look at... Yeah, there's the bomb. That'll be relevant later. It's like the easiest one on European Extreme. I'll talk more about it when we actually get there, but we'll go for a swim.
got
We'll get a nice control. I'm trying to remember the swimming controls. Yeah, it's circles in it. But we want these thermal goggles, which will come in handy. One interesting thing, when you use the thermal goggles in the water, it sort of breaks them a bit, and they become a bit damaged. It's not inverted, is it? Just an interesting thing I noted, yeah. But if you're somebody that struggles with European Extreme, because the opening to this game is really tough, I'm going to show you a really easy way of doing it. That, you know, speedrunners alike, it's not going to be for them because it's a slow strategy. But it's one way of making this whole sequence a lot easier. But we got the shaver, which is pretty cool. Get a little Easter egg with that. But yeah, I always remember on the original MGS2, you had 5 options on the PS2 to like select. Keep pressing the wrong button here. To like select your history in Metal Gear Solid, and it was ones like, oh, I played Metal Gear Solid 1 and loved it. I'm ready. Bring on the action, and it would only give you so many hard, difficulty options. But if you did like the bottom 2, it was basically like I didn't play MGS1, and it would go straight to the tanker sequence. And my dad used to always put that on because he used to think with the way this is set up that it's just a remake of MGS1. And you can't really blame him for thinking that too much because the way this is set up and the codec calls are word for word the exact same pretty much. And it's all deliberate, this, as part of the story, but the kernel's here and it's all very similar to MGS1. And you'll see here with this elevator and the way this room's set out. Who is that? I wonder. Now, one thing you may have noticed, we don't have the Soliton radar in the top right now, because on the big shell, to access it in each area, you have to hit that node down the corner. But before anything, this is the way to beat this section easily, because as you'll all know, once you activate the node, you have to hide from all these 3 guards for a limited amount of time. You usually crouch here, but you have to sneak past them, and it's really tough. We're going to make this really easy for you. It is time consuming though, but it's worth doing. As I showed you guys on the tanker section, if you put a knocked out or tranquilized guard in a locker, he'll never wake up. So if we put these 3 guards in the 3 lockers at the start, because I've always wondered why the lockers were there anyway, to be honest with you, and I think partially you are kind of expected to do this, but these guards will never disturb you. So this whole opening sequence where you're really struggling on European Extreme, you don't want to be getting spotted, it's game over, you're going to die really quickly, you don't want to take damage early on. You do this, these 3 guys won't bother you. Because it's the only time in the game where knocked out enemies don't wake up because it's story related. But yeah, as I say, if you've ever really struggled with this, I'm hoping that you'll be having a moment, you know, as if to say, oh, could have done that all the time and I struggled on it, but struggle no more. As I say, it's not for the speedrunner, because it's slow as hell, but if you're just trying to get through European Extreme for your own satisfaction, because there's no trophies for doing this, and there's no dog tags to collect, so you don't really need to do it. But even on Extreme, this strategy is a good one, because Extreme is very similar to European Extreme. It's just a little slightly easier. Like, I think you can get more rations on European Extreme. On Extreme, sorry. But I genuinely don't think I get a single ration in this game, but we will keep an eye on that. But you know, you've even got the forklift here, like you did in MGS1. So yeah, very eerie at the moment. Well, let's get rid of this guy. One thing I'm hoping, if you're watching this series as it's coming out, you'll know that we're doing this in tandem with Siphon Filter 2. Now, MGS1 and Siphon Filter 1 weren't able to keep in complete sync. I finished MGS1 quite a bit before Siphon Filter 1, because Siphon Filter I do mission by mission. MGS I just kind of do as and when. You know, I just kind of pick a point where I'm like, I've had enough, I'll stop it there. So, but MGS2 is longer, so I'm hoping we can actually keep in tandem with Siphon Filter this time. MGS2 might be the one that overruns it. But let's access this node. And this is where we put our details in. We will call ourselves Recall. And we'll put that as LL. You used to be able to put your year, but they got rid of that on most of these collections. One pretty cool thing you can do, though. Is it the 22nd today? Oh, hang on. I'm trying to do this trying to show something off here. If I put it as the 22nd, there you go. Happy birthday. I'm gonna do it as my actual birthday. Why not? There you go. Used to be able to put the year in, which was pretty cool, but not anymore. And you get all your settings here. So this is a way of accessing the options menu as well. So if you ever want to change anything, you can do it all here. But we're obviously just going to exit, get back into the game.
Good work, Raiden.
The radar should be
Now we're going to have Rose, which is Jack's girlfriend, but we are skipping all this. We don't want to listen to these two. Oh my god, it's hell. But yeah, normally you get a cutscene where there's a guard waking up here and it's like, oh shit, we're in trouble. But yeah, this takes no time at all because, sorry, it's easy because they're not here. So yeah, just relax. Really good strategy for someone who's, you know, if you're not speedrunning, you just want to get through the game. Just takes away all the stress of this sequence, which is awesome. You know, you don't have to hide up here and wait for a guard to come back. You just get going. Just chill. There you go. Excellent. And we're on strut A.
The terrorists call themselves Sons of Liberty.
That's not
Sons
Snake.
of Liberty?
The name of their leader is Solid Snake.
The hero of Shadow Moses? So that's why you changed my code name.
Right, but he can't be the Solid Snake. He died 2 years ago on that tanker after he blew it sky high.
Could he have survived?
Not a chance.
But yeah, so Raiden, apparently.
The big shell is comprised of
You can
shells 1 and 2.
actually find
Each
Raiden.
unit consists of a
There he
central
is. Can you
core
see him?
and 6
I can zoom in
struts
during
surrounding it.
cutscenes. Pretty
so
cool,
the whole
that.
thing is shaped like 2 hexagons connected end on end.
Exactly.
There he
And
is.
we're on the roof of strut A, shell 1 at the moment.
Yeah, if you press R2 in cutscenes, you can zoom in. Little cool feature on MGS2.
First,
But yeah, we're going to be basically going around this whole big shell. That's the game. Now, I think there's a guard up here on this difficulty. There's one way of knowing. I have an AP sensor. I'm not getting anything on it. No, there's no guard up here. Get the bandage. Bandages are pretty useful. Don't walk on the bird poo, because that happens. But yeah, this is Raiden, of course, is the whole reason this game has the reception it does, because it is, you know, the start of the game's awesome. You're playing a Solid Snake with Otacon. It's like the perfect sequel. Everything's improved. And you get back to this, and it's codec calls every 30 seconds. It's everything that people criticise about MGS1, and it's like Kojima just had to have been doing this on purpose. It is like a complete backlash to, you know, everything that people slagged off about MGS1. It is quite hilarious, really.
I'll go check the roof. I'll leave the first floor to you, okay? Understood.
But yeah, there's multiple struts in this game. Some struts are easy, some are really hard. On most struts, there's an enemy that will be calling in on the radio to give a status update, and that's you've got to kind of deal with them. They can be quite tricky. We're going to check this locker first. But yeah, the game wants you to use the knocking mechanic here, so you can get to the node. If you're not using the radar, then you don't really need to bother with this. This will give us the radar in strut A, which is awesome. Let's go around that way. Right, let's go to strut AB bridge. So a lot of this is about teaching us mechanics. Like here, the game wants us to use hanging mode to get past these two. But yeah, another codec call. It is non-stop at the start of this. Now this is probably one of the harder areas, actually, I always think. Because hanging mode just doesn't generally last quite long enough. But I've watched enough speedrunners, so hopefully I can find a way of doing this cleanly. Is that guy not moving over? Oh, he is. There we go. Interesting. They're both looking at the same time. You notice, obviously, I have no M9 pistol, which makes this a little bit more tricky. Right, go, 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 go. Oh, shit. I kind of cocked that up. I'm going to go prone here. You can't do the MGS1 trick of spinning yourself around. Right, that should work. Yeah, in MGS1 you could go first person and spin yourself around if you're a bit stuck, but in MGS2 Raiden's very much a character I can't move anymore past... Oh, fuck.
There's somebody there.
No! Oh, I could have used that to go past him. Oh, shit. Oh, bollocks. Let's just keep going, hey? There you go. We didn't get spotted. That doesn't count as an alert. I could really do with not taking that health damage though, couldn't I? Oh well, I'm stuck with it now. It's only slight health damage. We'll keep these cutscenes in because we'll get plenty of reveals and stuff.
Alpha Zero. Call me in Alpha Zero.
Oh no! No!
are you?
Five today. Or rather, 6.
Get down! Where is he?
Strange smell. You smell like... Are you?
It has to be. Shoot him! What are you waiting for?
Vam,
Yeah, Queen?
are you all done cleaning up?
Yes, but wait till I tell you what I found.
Something interesting?
I'll tell you in person. Where are you?
In the central unit with the president.
Be right there.
Ha! Hold on. I'm not an enemy. Calm down. My name is Pliskin. Iroquois Pliskin. Lieutenant Junior Grade.
Are you a Navy SEAL? How did you get in?
Fast rope descent from a Navy chopper.
Have I seen you before?
That suit. Are you Foxhound?
That's right.
Foxhound was disbanded. Huh? Where were you before Foxhound? Delta Force?
I was part of the Army's Force 21 trials.
Force 21? That's about tactical IT deployment, right? Any field experience?
No, not really.
So this is your first.
I've had extensive training, the kind that's indistinguishable from the real thing.
Like what?
Sneaking mission 60, weapons 80, advanced,
VR, huh?
but realistic in every way.
A virtual grunt of the digital age, that's just great.
That's far more effective than live exercises.
You don't get injured in VR, do you? Every year, a few soldiers die in field exercises.
There's pain sensation in VR and even a sense of reality and urgency. The only difference is it isn't actually happening.
That's the way they want you to think, to remove you from the fear that goes with battle situations. War is a video game. What better way to raise the ultimate soldier?
So you're saying that VR training is some kind of mind control?
Raiden, what's going on?
The Alpha team from Navy SEAL 10 is dead. No, a single survivor.
The kid's wired with nanomachines.
What about the president?
Looks like they took him somewhere else.
I see. You said there was a survivor from SEAL Team 10.
Yeah, Lieutenant J.G. Pliskin.
Has he seen your face?
What?
This is a top secret mission. No one can know that we're involved.
It's a little too late for that. What's up?
Take a look.
What the hell?
A Navy captain.
You all right?
Give me a few minutes. Must have lost a few more pints than I thought.
What was that man just now?
That blood-sucking freak. That was Vamp. He's Romanian, a wizard with knives, as you saw.
The way he moved didn't seem human.
You won't see that in VR, I guarantee.
What is he?
One of the members of Dead Cell.
Dead Cell? Him?
A special forces unit created by ex-President George Sears. The name was originally intended to reflect its anti-terrorist functions. The unit would launch unannounced assaults on government complexes for the ultimate terrorism simulation. They were needed to show VR troopers like you how to deal with the real thing. But around the time their original leader died in prison, the unit began to unravel. They were always close to the edge, but they became more and more extreme, began to go after US allies, even civilians. We estimate that no fewer than 100 people died as a result of accidents the Dead Cell arranged on their own. They were out of control, and it all came to a head 6 months ago.
What happened?
The unit was devastated. There are only 3 left now, and you just saw one of them.
Why would they go after the big shell?
How should I know? I told you they were on the lunatic fringe.
What about their leader? He says he's Solid Snake.
Snake died 2 years ago.
You mean the incident that made this big shell necessary in the first place?
Right, and he was the one that sank that tanker.
But he's a legend.
Legends are usually bad news. There's not a lot of difference between heroes and madmen.
You're saying Snake is still alive and pulled another one?
No, he's not involved in this one. His body was positively ID'd 2 years ago.
Snake is dead.
And buried.
What about the other soldiers? I saw Russian equipment too.
Former Soviet military. They're probably mercenaries. The big shell is too much ground for just Dead Cell members to hold down. You weren't briefed on any of this? And you came in alone to boot? Why? What are you really doing here? Can't tell me, huh? Fine with me.
I don't smoke.
Keep it anyway. May come in handy. Take this too.
Here, take this.
Come in, Alpha Zero. This is Bravo Zero, currently at the bridge between struts B and C. The President is... Damn, I can't hit this thing. It's like some bad dream. Alpha, anyone, come in, all Alpha. This is Bravo Zero.
Aren't you going to answer him?
The BC connecting bridge.
We need to get there. Can you handle it?
I need a few more minutes. Remember my frequency. It's 141.80.
141.80. Got it.
I've been briefed on this plant's layout. If you need information on the place or about Dead Cell, contact me. You're using nano communication, right?
Yeah, but I can patch into your frequency.
Hey, what's your name?
Raiden.
Raiden? Strange code name.
Makes up for the boring one my parents gave me.
Maybe I'll find out someday.
Well, that's a bit odd, isn't it? We've got some guy that looks like Solid Snake, talks like Solid Snake. Got a feeling he might not be who he says he is.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
You can always have a bit of fun shooting him. But yeah, I've included a lot of cutscenes because I just, I know MGS1 was kind of like no cutscenes, but I just want to give a bit of context to what's happening in the game if we can, a little bit more than usual. It will get to a point where I'm barely showing any cutscenes. But I know the people that are sort of watching this are more like into,
Jack, it's
are not,
Jack.
they want to see some more of the cutscenes, basically, and get a general gist of what's going on in the story. Which I'm more than happy to oblige. We've got a SOCOM, as you can see, main weapon from MGS1, which means we can kill people now, but we're probably not going to be doing that just yet. Right, we'll skip this one. Most of the SEALs have been killed, that's what's happened. We've seen a few of the bosses. But one of the bad news is that we've now lost this connecting bridge to the Shell 1 core, which is a bit of a nuisance later on. We'll get the chaff grenades. Chaff grenade, not quite what it was in MGS 1, where it was essentially an essential tool. Not going to use it too many times in MGS 2 by comparison. But I'm going to leave this part here, guys. I'll make a quick save. I know we've not played actually too much game in this part, but I wanted to show plenty of context as to what was going on. Next part, where we're defusing the bombs, is going to be very gameplay oriented. The next couple, in fact. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.